And for now, there is no deal to end a global standoff over guns. We've just learned the U.S. is asking for more time to consider a United Nations treaty to crack down on illegal weapons dealers. Supporters say it will save lives. The dozens of American lawmakers are threatening to block the treaty, warning it could affect gun rights here in the U.S. A bipartisan group of 51 U.S. senators sent a letter to President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, writing, quote, "The constitutional protection of these individual freedoms must not be infringed, and we will oppose the ratification of any arms trade treaty that falls short of this standard." The Fox Report's chief correspondent, Jonathan Hunt, live at the UN. Jonathan, the deadline to cut a deal was today, so what happened?
Yeah, the deal fell apart just in the last hour or so, John, and we are just hearing that the United States was among the nations who said they are not ready yet to vote on this treaty, and that is why it has been delayed. Russia, another of the nations that said no, not right now. Cuba and Venezuela also joining the US and Russia in saying we need more time. Supporters of this treaty are very disappointed, even angry. They say the treaty is needed to stop illegal weapons getting to terrorist groups and regimes like that of President Assad in Syria, which continues to murder Syrian civilians. And they say this treaty is needed now. Listen.
The international trade in weapons at the moment has many loopholes. There are national systems, some of which are very strong, but globally there isn't a standard that everybody shares. This treaty is trying to bring all of that together and make sure that when governments are considering whether to export a shipment of weapons, do they know whether it's going to go to someone who's going to use it to commit serious human rights abuses?
It appears now that a vote on this treaty might not come until the fall, possibly even until after the US election. That timing in itself may, of course, be significant, John.
So if this is about weapons trafficking, why are some Americans so worried?
Well, individual gun owners in the United States, a lot of senators and congressmen, and of course the National Rifle Association believe that this is the beginning of a slippery slope. While it may not be aimed at individual gun owners, that is the effect it would have, making it harder for those individuals to get the weapons they are allowed under the U.S. Constitution. Here's one of the senators who signed that letter to President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Listen.
We're not going to agree to anything that impedes upon the Second Amendment rights of U.S. citizens, but an agreement ought to include some basic things, and one of them ought to be recognizing the value of self-defense, the use of firearms for hunting and other recreational activities.
And when this eventually does come up for a vote again, this UN treaty, it will certainly have the same political ramifications, the same political arguments surrounding it, John.
Jonathan Hunt at the UN. Thank you.
This is FirearmPop, and I approve of this message.